And good morning. Welcome in. It's Live at 9 with James Phillips here on WJLX. And this morning got a special guest, as most mornings. But today, very special guest. We got Police Chief JC Poe, Jasper Police Chief JC Poe, who's also a candidate for Walker County Sheriff. And JC, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for asking me.
It's a good morning out there. A little dreary, but
Yes.
it's going to be a good day, I think.
It will be.
Pull that mic just a little closer to you, if you will, and talk to us a little bit about how you thought Tuesday night went. It was election night, and you're in a runoff now, so you got to be pleased with that.
I am. I was a little disappointed. I thought that I would have had more votes than what I had, but I'm pleased that I was in the runoff. But I think the people of Walker County wanted a change, and they clearly spoke that they wanted one, and they said that very loudly.
Yeah, I think it definitely was a loud voice in Walker County with the runoff now coming down to you and Jason Akins instead of the incumbent sheriff making the runoff. That really does that speaks volumes as to what the people of Walker County wanted to see.
I think so, yes.
Now, tell us a little bit about we haven't talked during the real campaign season. You were on here about a year ago for the Law Enforcement Week, and we talked about Law Enforcement Week. But what was it that made you want to get in the race? You've got 30+ years of experience and have a great job at the city of Jasper, where you're happy being the police chief. What was it that said, JC, let's get in the sheriff's race?
Well, the job I have now, James, is the most rewarding job I've ever had. I love my job as the police chief, but I also care about the county and the sheriff's office. And I spent 18 years there, and it was a great place to work at that time. And it is not that any longer, and it is in chaos now. And I felt like that I had something to offer to go and straighten that mess out.
Yeah.
And get it back on track like that it should be.
Yeah. Talk about some of your experiences of why you think you're the one and the person who can go in on day one and make those changes.
Well, I think that at this point in my career path I chose law enforcement. And this is not going to be something that somebody can go in, a trial by error, a newbie or a new person cannot go in there and do that and get to where they want to be. And goodwill and good intentions is not going to get the job done. It's going to have to take somebody that knows the layout and knows the profession and knows the different aspects of the people there, their different jobs, and how they're supposed to work and whether they're doing those properly or not. And I've done everything in law enforcement, a dispatcher, a police officer, deputy, investigator, detective, narcotics commander, chief deputy, chief of police. I have a vast knowledge of experience that I'm willing to offer. And I want to go down and lead and pour into the next generation of leaders at the sheriff's office.
Now, I know in a lot of your campaigning, it's been, hey, I'm the person who will go in and clean house.
Yes.
How big of a house cleaning do you think it's going to take for the next sheriff?
Well, there are some good people still there, but they have to kind of sit back and stay out of the way. But there's some that have got to go. And day one, I can go and start that process.
Right.
And I don't have to go and say, hey, how can I do this? How can I do that? I can go in there and do it the legal way, that it does not get the county into more lawsuits. And that's one of the big things that's facing them now is all the lawsuits. And there's been tons of them that have been paid out of court, and it's run insurance rates up. And you've got to have risk management is a big thing with law enforcement.
Definitely so.
And it is in any business or organization.
Yeah.
And you just can't throw that out the door with a dishwasher. dishwater, you know.
Right.
You have to be on top of it all the time, and you have to have leaders around you that have that same mindset. And I can do that. I'm currently running the biggest law enforcement agency in this county. The sheriff's office generally is, but they don't have very many people over there right now.
Yeah, I know their numbers have dwindled. I mean, you've got 20 or so that are under indictment.
Yeah,
And then you've got others who've gotten tired of things and left,
Yeah.
or, there's a lot of different reasons, but they're definitely
Yeah.
lower in numbers now.
Yeah, you've got 26 or 27 that have been indicted federally and some locally, and then you've got others that have just left and sought employment somewhere else because of their reputation and their integrity is being encroached upon because of just the association.
Right.
And it's going to take a lot to get it back on track. It's not going to happen, right away, but it is going to happen, and people will see a difference if they choose me as their sheriff. And it won't take long before they see a huge difference in the department and how they treat people.
Well, and you brought it up earlier as far as the lawsuits against the county and things like that. How do you think with the fact that there's been so many arguments between the sheriff's office and the Walker County Commission, what's your relationship like with the commission, and how do you think you would work with them?
Well, you mentioned earlier the years that I've been in law enforcement, and it goes well over 30. And I've not made it this long at the positions I've held by burning bridges.
Exactly.
I'm a relationship builder, and sure, you can argue with somebody and have disagreements with somebody like the county commission, city council, a mayor, the chairman of the commission, or civil service boards. But at the end of the day, you walk away still friends,
Yeah.
and being able to carry on a conversation. And you don't end it in bringing a lawyer with you.
Right.
That is the very last resort on anything. But I have always had a good relationship with the city council here at the city of Jasper, working with here, and the mayors. And also when I was chief deputy there for 7 years, I had a great relationship working with the county commission then, and assisting the sheriff, and in his absence,
Yeah.
communicating with them and the county administrator about financial issues, things of that nature.
Well, and that's one thing I think people may not realize too, is that you were chief deputy for a good while,
I was.
and that shows that you've been right there on the very inside to know what's going on behind those walls.
Yeah, I was chief deputy when we occupied the building that the sheriff's office is in now.
Right.
And when I became chief deputy, we were still in the process of that being built. And so I had some input in some of the systems in that facility and in some of the designs of it. And I know how it's supposed to operate. And I can easily go in there and get it back to where it should be.
Now, have you you talked about the building of relationships and working with the city council and that sort of thing. I think that's a key, and it should be a key that people think on too, as far as we've always heard for years and years that the county and the city butt heads a lot of times as far as the sheriff's office and the police department. Is there anybody else that would be better to get those two organizations to work together than JC Poe?
Well, I don't think so, because, I have, at our police department, the Jasper Police Department, I've got a great group of leaders that I have surrounded myself with. And several of them could carry on right after me. And if I become sheriff, we're going to have a great relationship. And that's one of my goals that I want to do, is reunite law enforcement throughout this entire county.
Right.
And right now we don't have that. And there's even the relationship's not like it should be with the state troopers and other state officers and other smaller departments, or even my department, that it should be. And But that's one of the goals I want to, is unify law enforcement. It makes it better for the public. It makes it safer for the public, for them to be able to work together and assist each other. And there's several other things I intend on doing. Is narcotics is a big issue with our community, like it is all communities. And I want to organize a multi-agency drug task force. And I was over the county unit there for 4 years. I know how it's supposed to operate. We had other officers from different agencies involved in it then, and it worked great. And that's what I want to do, and also work with other state and federal agencies and attack the drug problem.
Now one thing, and I saw you address this on social media. I guess it was Wednesday, probably the day after the election. A lot of people have said, or the rumor was going around that, well, if JC wins sheriff, he's coming in for 6 months or a year, and he's going to work to clean house, but then he's going to retire and just handpick somebody to take over.
Yeah.
What can you speak to that?
Well, that is a rumor. The rumor was I was going to come in and work for a year and then step out and cherry pick somebody.
Right.
I've not been in this campaign going on. It will be 14 months now.
Yeah, it's been a long campaign.
It has been a long campaign, and it has been, it consumes you. It consumes your life, and it has, and I've still been working my 40 hours at JPD.
That's right.
Plus. Yeah.
And you still got to be a good husband and grandpa and all that good stuff.
That's exactly right. And a good uncle.
Right.
But I'm going to go and work. I'll be there for one term.
Yeah.
But what I want to do is pour in to the next younger generation of people that want to come and be mentored.
Right.
And then they can step in, and whoever wants to run can run for it. But I'm going to get the department in shape and back to where it should be as a sheriff's office. And then anybody that wants to run after that, but I'll be there for one term.
Right.
I will be there for one full term, and I'm in good health, and there's no reason why I can't do that. And there's been my opponent has been speaking about my age, and he and his supporters. And if they want to continue down that road of age discrimination,
Right.
I think that would, I'm not going to go negative, and they want to continue doing that, then that's okay. But I think if the other people in the county are middle-aged or older, I think I'd be totally offended by that.
Right.
I mean, who is one person to say when another one should sit down,
Well, a lot of people have tried to put me out to the pasture, so I understand. I do understand
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I've worked all my life, and I may always do something.
Yeah,
I'm not going to just, when I do retire, I'm not going to just sit at home. I love going, and we've got a family farm I go to, and I love being down there working and fishing and hunting and bush hogging and doing whatever we want to do. We got garden sites there we work. And
well, I know one of your opponents in the regular primary had talked about being a working sheriff, or current sheriff had put that a lot, and suggested that that you or Mr. Akins might not be a working sheriff. But I mean, I've seen you. You're constantly out around town. You're not just the police chief who sits behind the desk.
Well, James, I can tell you, I've been a law enforcement leader for a long time. I've been the chief at Jasper for 12 years. You have to multitask. You have to be the leader. You have to be there and directing the ship and making sure people are doing what they want to do. But you also have to be out in the field at times. And sometimes that is in the middle of the night.
Right.
You have to be there. But it is not the sheriff's job to be out here stopping cars and chasing people down and doing things of that nature.
Right.
You've got deputies you're paying to do that, or police officers you're paying to do that. Your job is to manage and keep things going in the right direction, mentor people, and build a great department to where you stay out of lawsuits, you treat people right, but you also have to have people in place there you can trust to, when you're absent, you're gone to a conference or on vacation, that it clicks right along like you were there.
Right, right. That's true. Um, I think it's we're getting close to the bottom of the hour, so I'm going to take our break and hear from our sponsors, and we'll regroup and talk during the break to see where we want to go next. But there's plenty of things for us to talk about as far as the campaign goes, and I want you to spend a little time too telling us about yourself a little more and about what you've done at Jasper to kind of prepare you in this line as well. So let's take a break real quick. We're going to hear from our sponsors. And then we'll be right back on Live at 9 with James Phillips here on WJLX. And we are back here on Live at 9. I noticed during the commercial break there, we got a lot of comments going on. I see several that are Poe for sheriff. Yes, Poe for sheriff. We've got several different things going on there. I've seen a few people that were not as positive, but nothing too bad yet. But we do appreciate you guys listening in, and definitely leave your comments for WJLX and for Chief Poe. And Chief Poe, we were talking during the break. We had a caller call in, and they were asking a couple of different questions, and we kind of already hit on what they were talking about. They were talking about like the funding and how could you do a better job of getting funding from the county commission. And we've talked about already the relationship with the county commission and how you're able to work with multiple agencies and multiple places to do the right thing for the sheriff's office if you're elected. And then now one thing that has been quite the talk during the election or during the campaign leading up to the election was, and this was from the current sheriff, talking about how he would like to see the pay adjusted for people. So when you hire them in, you're getting them in at a larger rate, I think is a big key. Have you looked into those issues any at all before you could possibly be taking over?
Yes, I've looked into the pay rate there, and it is not what it really should be. I think they start out at 16 something an hour, and I think what he was talking about is if you have an officer that's got 10 years of service, you're able to bring him in at a higher rate on the pay scale.
Right.
And that's what I assume he was talking about.
Right.
And that's things that we have fought for and obtained for the city of Jasper for employees, is that if they've got additional experience and years of service, you can compensate them for that.
Yeah.
And that's something that needs to be put in place with the county. But with the funding there, one thing is you got to go in there and see how it's been managed. You know, he's come in under budget every year. I mean, over budget. I've come in under budget, and I'm accustomed to working a budget with millions of dollars, and that's what the sheriff's office is. They're similar, and I can go in, and I know there's some people that have been working out of class, they were hired in to work one position, but they're not. I think one was a photographer, one was a PR person, and those people I think are gone now. But that affects your budget.
Right.
And you have line items, and those line items are for spending for specific reasons, and that's why they're there, and is to keep your budget going the way it should be in the right direction. And then if you need additional funding, then you've got a relationship with the county commission that you can go and seek that additional funding if they have it. And if not, then you figure out different ways of reaching your goal, or sometimes you just have to do without.
Right.
And you don't go and spend money that you don't have.
Well,
It's just like a family budget.
Right.
You know, you don't spend what you don't have.
You can't break the county just like you can't break your home budget, you know.
You can't.
Now, one thing, too, you had mentioned earlier when we were talking about groups that you would have to work with, the Civil Service Board. And you're
Yes.
used to working with the Civil Service Board at Jasper. Most places, I think there's only technically 3 left in the entire state, and 2 of them are here. So not everybody's used to working through that type of
No, they're not.
government.
No.
And I won't get into your thoughts on civil service boards. I've got my own too that I've even said for a lot of years. It seems to be antiquated, but it is something you're used to working with.
It is, and I was used to working with it as chief deputy with the county civil service board, and I've been working with it for 12 years with the city of Jasper Civil Service Board.
Right.
They have rules and policies within their organization. We have them in ours, and I know how to stay within those policies and regulations and acts and things of that nature, and I know the laws that we have to work with.
Right.
But I also know how, if you need a new position created, if you've got a specialty, and right now in law enforcement, the age of law enforcement, you have to have specialty people. You have to have IT people. You have to have forensic people to delve into computers.
Right.
And telephones to be able to do that. And that takes special training. And it takes a different pay for people like that because it's specialized.
Right.
And you have to go to these boards and say, hey, and your city councils and county commissions, and say, I need this position here to continue on and stay competitive and stay on the cutting edge of law enforcement.
Yeah. It
And
sounds to me like most of it is just communication between everybody. And as long as you have an open line of communication and be able to talk to these different groups,
yes,
that's the way it works.
yes, uh-huh.
And we've struggled with communication between those groups.
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had one other question that I know a listener had texted me when they saw that you were going to be coming on, and he brought up the SROs, which has been a topic of conversation for different reasons over the campaign. But he was just wanting to get your thoughts on SROs and how important they are, and would you want to see one in every school, that sort of thing, because he had family members who worked in schools, and he was really concerned about security there.
Yes, I am very pro having school resource officers in the schools, but every one of them that I have had, they are A-post trained. That means they're state certified police officer for the state of Alabama. They are also, once we put one, designate that one is an SRO, goes to NASRO, to the state, or I'm sorry, it's to the board that they do training for SROs.
Right.
And you've got several levels there. You got your basic, then you have the enhanced. And I've got 4 in the city of Jasper now, and 3 of those have the enhanced. One of them has been in there. We just put him in that position. He has the basic, but he's going to be going and getting the advanced. But I am very pro SROs, and I have never had a police officer that has not been APO certified, and I definitely will not have one in our schools protecting children and teachers that are not certified.
Right.
And that will be continued in the county, and that will be looked at very closely.
Yeah.
And
Now,
managed.
how you talk about SRO training, but just how important in today's world of police work, how important is training in general for every officer?
It is very important. An A-post officer by state law is required to have 12 hours of continuing education a year, plus a firearms qualification. You have to pass that. A chief of police has to have 20 executive hours a year, plus the firearms. But with the city of Jasper, we do far more than that. And we did like 4,300 hours altogether for all of our officers. And if we're fully funded, we have like 49 officers. We are not fully funded, so we don't have that. Now, the sheriff's office, that is going to be a big priority, is training.
Right.
The de-escalation, the use of force, the training where you have less than lethal weapons on you, a taser, OC spray, or an ASP, because the last thing you want to do is use your firearm.
Right.
And I'm not saying anything that's happened in the past is not justified by no means. I'm not saying that.
Right.
I'm just saying these additional tools, having them available, might in the future prevent something.
Well, and talking about that training as well, jail workers, they have to have training as well.
Yes, they sure do.
To be able to handle
Yes.
the different situations, and just talking on the Tony Mitchell situation with what happened there, I know a lot of people are concerned about their relatives if they end up in any jail, how they'll be treated, how important getting medical attention to people are, and speak to that some as far as
Okay.
how things can be done better to make sure that people do get the treatment they need when they're in the
That,
facility.
James, is where I'm going to be changing the culture from day one.
Right.
Now, that will start day one, changing the culture. And that starts from the head and goes all the way down to the person that is the least paid person there.
Right.
And that is where they treat people the way they're supposed to. And I'm sorry, but it's thinking about some of that. The culture there is not what it should be.
Right.
And when you ignore people and they're in distress and things of that nature, you treat everybody just like you would want your family to be treated.
Right.
And when somebody is in your jail, they no longer can feed themselves, clothe themselves, or provide medication for themselves, or go to a doctor. They're totally dependent on you to do that.
Right.
And you have to take care of them.
Right.
And no matter what they've done or what crime they've committed, they're your responsibility at that time. You have to take care of them. And that's what the culture will change, and that will change throughout the department.
Well, and I know you. We've known each other for a lot of years now, and have worked together when I was at the newspaper or in here too. And I know your personality, and I know that you're a man of faith, and how much you care about other humans.
Yes.
You know, and I feel like that goes a long way into it. And faith has been brought into the campaign a lot of times, and you don't push that on people. But talk about that a little bit too, with your faith, and how that makes you a better law enforcement official.
Well, you have to have compassion for people, and my faith is what keeps me going. Is if I didn't have God in my life, He has opened a lot of doors for me, but He's also closed doors for me that
Right.
I didn't need to go through.
Right.
And He has guided me, and He is one of the reasons I'm in this race. And it is so important that the sheriff's office will be ran in a godly manner. And it is something that I do care deeply about. I care about people, and I care about people that have been victimized, and we're there for them. But at the same time, people that are incarcerated, I care about their salvation. They're human beings. God loves them just as much as He loves anybody else.
Right. Yeah.
And, one of the big issues brought up was going to church services. We will not be taking inmates outside the facility to churches.
Right.
That is too much of a risk management issue on a lot of fronts there. But we will be bringing ministers and clergy people into the facility to be ministering to the inmates. And these people will be vetted, and to make sure they're the right people. We're not just going to turn anybody in there that wants to come.
Right.
They'll be vetted, because we don't know what they're going to come in there spewing to.
Yeah, because
The
you've still got
inmates.
security issues, even if you're not going outside the facility and you're bringing people in.
Exactly.
You've always got to be mindful of, am I bringing in somebody that's bringing prison contraband with them, or are
Exactly, and that's been an issue in the past.
Yeah.
It always has been. But also, every inmate in that facility will have the choice to attend the service if they want to.
Right.
It's not going to be one small group.
Right,
that
right.
Everybody there will have that choice, and it'll be their choice.
Yeah,
To
and your
really-
idea was to basically have a worship service there at the facility.
Yeah.
That everybody could go
Yes,
to.
it'll be in the facility there.
Yeah.
And then there'll be some Bible studies if they want to do that during the week.
Well, and I know I've got my friend Steve Odom. He's
Yes.
done prison ministry for
He has.
years, and I'm sure he would be a good one to keep
yes.
coming in. And but I know he's done that for a long, long time, and everybody always talks highly of him when he works
yes.
with the prisoners. How about what else do you want to talk about as far as just your experience goes, and why you think you're the the person for the job to be sheriff?
Well, I think my vast experience through law enforcement over the years have prepared me to step into this role. It's very similar to the role I'm in now. Like I mentioned, I run a similar size agency, and budget size is similar, and a lot of the issues that we face are similar. So it's not going to be that big of a transition for me to go over there, because I've been there before, not as the sheriff, but as his assistant. And I know how a sheriff's office is supposed to run. I've worked for 4 different sheriffs while I was there.
Yeah.
And I learned and observed the good and the bad of all of them. And that's what I've always tried to do during life, is try to take the good points from people and adapt them myself, and see what works for me.
Yeah.
And I think all the things I've done through life as in law enforcement, I've testified in grand juries. I have testified in capital murder cases. I've been a lead investigator in capital murder cases where we've got convictions, and one of them was sentenced to the death penalty, was his sentence. And years later, it was carried out, which was last year, on a very brutal murder that I was the lead investigator on.
Right.
And I've done those things. And the way the chaos at the sheriff's office right now, it's going to take someone with that experience and that have done those things that can step in and start rebuilding the sheriff's office and choosing and picking the correct people to come into and build the sheriff's department for the next generation, and also the next leaders. And for me to mentor them, if they're willing for me to do that, and gain from my knowledge and experience and pour into them what I've got and lead them. And then after 4 years, somebody can step up and take the lead, hopefully, and go on.
Right.
But with my experience I've got, and it's going to be very hard for my opponent to do that. He runs a small lawn care service, and he doesn't have this experience. I've chosen law enforcement for my career path.
Right.
And that's what's prepared me to step into this role.
Yeah. Now, this will be kind of a 2-part question, because it's on how you change the culture and how you build back with good people. Not that there's not already good people at the sheriff's office, but the new person is going to have to take over, and they're going to have to build their own roster per se. One, I know a lot of people have said, well, why in the world would JC want a lower paying job? You know, almost people think it's either a step down or a step to the side. And I know we've talked, and you've talked about how much you care about Walker County. I'm guessing that's the reason, but why would you want to take a lesser paying job to go have a big headache at the sheriff's office?
That is a very good question. It is a little bit lower paying job. And the reason I'm doing it is because I do care about the sheriff's office in the county, and that I can get it turned around to where it is representing the people of this county.
Right.
And they put the people first. But also, I'll be taken care of on my retirement. I'll go spend 4 years as sheriff and retire. And the way the retirement system looks at it is they gauge your retirement on your 3 largest pay years.
Right.
Out of the last 10.
Right.
So I go and stay 4 years, I'll be fine.
It won't affect your retirement at all.
But the biggest thing, James, got to take care of us.
There you go. And I guess piggybacking off that, my second part of the question was, how do you get in the position where you're only able to bring in somebody new at $16 and change an hour, or if you bring in somebody with experience right now, I think it might go up to around $20 an hour, something like that. How do you get the good people that you need, and how can you recruit them to come for less money or things like that to be able to build the place back to where you want it to be?
That is another very good question. the way you do that is you change the culture. Day one, you set the expectations of people. And if you've got people that cannot continue working where they're at, then that's where you start the process of getting them moved on.
Right.
But also, you have to set your expectations of people, and people that don't want to live up to that, then they put you in a position that you can do something with them then.
Right.
But also, once you set that culture and standards of what is acceptable and what is not, on how you treat people, how you represent yourself, how you represent the department and the county, then you will have people that will come.
Right.
And it ain't necessarily for the best pay.
Right.
There's been people that have left there in the last few years that stayed, even though they could have come to me a long time ago or a larger department.
Right.
For more pay, but they loved the sheriff's office and wanted to stay there until it started encroaching the atmosphere and everything going on
Right.
on their integrity, and they had to leave.
Right.
But the people, the good officers will come, and you can start rebuilding the department to being one people can hold their head up when they walk in the door. But the culture change will start day one when you set the expectations and say, this is what's going to be acceptable, this is what's not going to be, don't cross that line.
Right. And then if you do cross that line, there's known consequences.
Yeah, and don't try me on it.
Right.
I am a no-nonsense leader, and I love my employees at Jasper. I loved them at the sheriff's office, and, but you have things that they know what the job is and what's expected, and so it's up to them whether they want to be that type person or not.
Right.
And if they don't, then they need to go somewhere where they can be whatever they want to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not going to be where I'm the head of.
Right. And you'll wish them well on their future endeavors.
I sure will. Yeah.
Anything else? We're getting close to the end of the hour. Anything else that you want to bring up that we haven't talked about?
I don't think so, James. We've pretty much covered it. I just hope the people will realize that with the chaos that's at the sheriff's office, it's going to take somebody with the vast experience that I have to step in and start on day one the process of rebuilding and restructuring the sheriff's office. And anybody with anything less than that, it's going to take a very long time if they can do it at all.
Right.
And I'm not going to have to call and say, hey, what do I need to do in this situation? I can do that. I can make split-second decisions. I'm not saying I always make the correct ones. Right. But with my knowledge of law enforcement, there's hardly any situation that I've not been able to that I've dealt with. I've dealt with hostage situations, shooting situations, major crimes. There's not anything hardly you can throw out there that I don't have experience with over my years or being involved with. Right. And I don't think my opponent can say that.
Well, and we didn't even touch on your experience as coroner either. You were coroner for how long?
6 years. Joey Vick was the coroner, and he stepped out to be a pastor, and Governor Riley appointed me to finish out his 2 years left in his term, and then I ran, and I ran countywide. Me and Greg Reed, that was the first year 2 Republicans were elected running countywide. Yeah. As Republicans. Yeah. And that was in 2010, and we both won. So I won my seat there as the coroner. And I was proud of that, being the first Republican. I know you're not a. Well,
I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, but I will tell
everybody. You're a little
more
liberal.
I will lean a little more liberal than most in Walker County, but I will tell everybody that you were one of the first Republicans. You were there before it got popular to be a Republican in Walker County.
Yeah. My dad was chairman of the Republican Party when they could sit around a 4-chair table.
Right, right. The way the Democrats are now,
Yes.
and there may not be 4 that can sit at a
May
4
not
table,
They
but
may not have a quorum.
right. But I can say that because and the Poe family goes back, like you said, your dad was the Republican Party chairman here. But y'all definitely do go back as Republicans, and I remember that year that you and Greg Reed both won, and that was kind of when the shift really
That
had
was
started.
when the shift started.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, JC, I sure do appreciate you coming in today. It's been a good conversation.
Yes,
and
I've enjoyed it.
anything, always we're here. Anything we can do to help the Jasper Police Department, or if you become sheriff, to help the sheriff's office, we're here to do that and keep people informed. And so I appreciate you coming by today.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
And let everybody know it's June 16th, right?
Yes.
So
And
June
we need you to
16th.
come out and vote.
There you go. Everybody, thanks for tuning in this week. It's been a great week on Live at 9, and ended it with a bang with Chief Poe here, and I do appreciate him coming in over the weekend. I hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll be giving away, if you'll keep an eye on the social media of WJLX today. We're going to be giving away some Black Crows tickets this afternoon, and it'll probably be me who gets in contact with you to let you know if you've won or not. So we appreciate you guys entering that drawing. Until next week, be kind and love, and we'll see you on Monday. Well, actually, we may be off on Monday. It's Memorial Day. But we'll see you early next week on Live at 9 with James Phillips here on WJLX.